Hey there, and welcome to our Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something super important but often overlooked, the digital signposts that guide us through the internet. We're talking about headings and labels. Getting these right is a huge part of web accessibility, and it can literally be the difference between a user finding their way or just getting totally lost.
You know that feeling, right? You land on a page and you're just clicking around, totally lost, trying to find that one specific thing you need. It's so frustrating, and honestly, it's just a waste of time. Well, a lot of the time, that confusion comes down to a really simple problem: a lack of clear digital signposts. Just think of headings and labels on a website like signs on a highway. If they're not there, or if they're confusing, you're basically just guessing which way to go. So let's get a little nerdy for a second. What are the official rules for these digital signposts? Well, in the world of web accessibility, they're laid out in the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. You'll hear it called WCAG for short. We're going to focus on a specific one, Success Criterion 2.4.6. And you know what? The goal here is actually really simple and straightforward. It's all about helping people understand what's on a page and how it's all put together, at a single glance. It's about getting rid of the guesswork and creating a clear, logical path for everyone. Okay, so let's see what this looks like in the real world. On the left, you've got these really vague headings like Part 2 or Details. I mean, what does that even tell you? Nothing, right? But look at the right. The headings are descriptive. Cut out useless words. Author biography. Now you know exactly what's coming next. That is the power of a good signpost.
But this goes way deeper than just making things look neat and tidy. Getting this right has a real, tangible, human impact. So let's talk about why this clarity is so absolutely critical.
And this is the part that I think is so cool. Just look at how many different people benefit from this. Of course, it's absolutely crucial for folks who use screen readers because they can just jump from heading to get the lay of the land. It's also a game changer for people with cognitive disabilities or anyone who reads a bit slower. But honestly, the big one here, it's everyone. We all scan content online, and good headings let us do it fast. And you don't just have to take my word for it. The W3C, the folks who actually write these rules, they put it perfectly. And the key word in their statement is predict. When a user can predict what's in a section, they feel confident, they feel in control, and they can find what they need without burning through a ton of mental energy. Okay, so enough theory, right? Let's get practical. Let's see how these signposts actually work, or how they fail, in a couple of everyday examples. All right, first up, a super common scenario you see everywhere: a simple form asking for a name. It seems so basic, but boy, is it an easy place to get things wrong. So look at the left side here. We've got two fields, and they both just say name. What am I supposed to do with that? Is the first one for my first name, my full name? It's just confusing. But over on the right, it's crystal clear: first name and last name. That little bit of specificity gets rid of all the confusion for the user. Simple as that. Okay, let's look at another one. This one's a little more subtle, something we see all the time: icons. They're everywhere, but they can be surprisingly confusing if they don't have the right context. Think about the good old magnifying glass icon. When you see it next to a text field, your brain instantly goes, search. But if you take that exact same icon and put it on top of an image, your brain thinks, zoom. See? The context is everything. Even a common icon needs to make sense where it's placed to be a good descriptive label. All right, now this next part is super important. We got to get into a little bit of the fine print here, because this one specific rule often gets mixed up with other accessibility guidelines. So let's be really clear about what it is and what it isn't. So the rule we're focused on today, 2.4.6, is all about the words themselves. Is the heading text actually descriptive of what comes next? Now there's a different rule, 1.31, that's about the techie stuff behind the scenes. Is that heading actually coded correctly in the HTML? You could have a beautifully descriptive heading that fails the code test, or vice versa. They're two different things. And here's the other big mix-up. Our rule, 2.4.6, says that if you use a label, it has to be a good, clear, descriptive one. But it doesn't actually say you have to use a label in the first place. That's a different rule, 3.3.2. So think of our rule as the quality inspector. It checks the quality of the labels you use. The other rule is the one that says, hey, you need a label here to begin with. Okay, so after all that, what's the big takeaway here? How do we boil all this down into something you can use right away to make your own content way more navigable? It really just comes down to these three simple things to ask yourself. Number one,
Does your heading or label actually describe the topic? Number 2, does it make the purpose of the section or the form field totally clear? And number 3, is it clear and concise? You don't need to write a novel, you just need to use the right words.
And that's pretty much it. So I'll leave you with a little challenge to think about. Take a look at your own website, or maybe a document you're working on. What's just one heading, one label, one signpost that you could make a little bit clearer right now to make that journey easier for everyone? Thanks for tuning in.